is Craig. We're at Goods and Guitars here in Odessa, Texas, and today we're going to be working on a Padula bass. What has happened with this is the truss rod is broken off. I'll show you a picture of that. So we're going to have to take the fretboard off, install a new truss rod. We'll probably put some carbon fiber rods inside the neck, go ahead and reinforce it, put the fretboard back on. The process of taking the fretboard off is going to damage the finish to the point we're going to have to refinish it. So it's going to be a series of videos, and we're going to get started. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so this is the bass. We've already got it disassembled. Give you a few tips about that. I've got all the parts in a tote, a little tub. That way they all stay together. I took a lot of photographs of the electronics. I took made a lot of notes in a little notebook that I keep. And this is a urethane finish, and as you can see right here, it kind of folds in and it looks like they shot the urethane over the fret. So when we get in here trying to get this fretboard off, we're going to damage all of this, so there's no way around it. We're going to have to put another finish on it. And if we come up here, you can see, well, there's a good shot. Warning, read instructions, and then that's what we got right there. This is going to be one of the spots I try to get into right here. We're going to start using some heat and some putty knives and palette knives, different things to get up under here. And then we're going to heat this up and start working this glue seam and trying to get this fretboard off of here. And then, like I said, once we get it off, we're going to replace that truss rod, and then we're going to go with some carbon fiber rods to reinforce the neck. The thing you need to know about these bases is their truss rod is exclusive to them, and you have to have their tool. If you don't have their tool, you're probably going to end up doing the same thing that happened to this one. The rod that I'm going to put in it is going to use just a standard quarter hex. That way it's not going to be that big a deal to adjust it. So that's what we're going to do. So y'all sit tight. Here we go.
There's a lot of ways to get started on this. I'm going to start with heating up this knife with the heat gun and then working it in. There's other ways. You can set an iron up here and heat the fretboard up in the frets. I may do that. I've got a heating blanket I use to bend my sides. I may throw that on here. It just depends on how it starts out. Sometimes they're really hard to get off. Sometimes they come off really easy, pop right off. So we're just going to get going on it and see how it works. All right, so we're starting making some progress. Things are starting to loosen up. I had to get the iron going. It's about 253 degrees, which is about the temperature I would expect the glue to start cutting loose. So we're just going to keep working our way up the fretboard, keeping it hot. And then I'm using these little shims as wedges that way it doesn't try to come back and glue back on as we go. So now that we got the knife all the way through, I'll heat it and then just kind of work it back. And then just keep working it back. This is a really thick ebony fretboard, so I don't want to try to go too fast. You know, slow and sure wins the race. And like I said, we're just going to keep working it back until we get where we want to go. So I'm going to stop the video and keep working, and then we'll come back when we get a little further. Okay, we're about halfway. Right here is as far as I've gotten. I've got the iron heating things up as I go. I'm using a heat gun over here to heat up my palette knife as I work my way through. And it's slow going. You don't want to rush anything like this, because if you do it right, you'll be able to put that fretboard back on. If you do it wrong and you break it, you'll have to put another fretboard on. So we're going to keep going at it, going to keep working, and I'll keep updating y'all as we go. All right, so we had a hard spot about the 12th fret, and once I got past it, it started going real smooth. So what I'm doing now is I'm heating the knife, so the knife gets hot underneath the fretboard, and then it's going to loosen that glue up. And we're getting pretty close right now. And then I'll switch sides, move my shim up a little bit. I don't know what it was that we were running into at 12, but it was like I hit a brick wall. But I kept going nice and slow, keeping things not rushing or anything, because I don't want to break this board. I've done this several dozen times with guitars, but this board is so wide down here. Double action rods are awesome, but if they break, there's really no other alternative but to pull the board. And if you use the old school rods, there are tools made to where you can repair them and kind of get them going again. I said earlier in the intro that we were going to put carbon fiber rods in there, and this base already has rods in it, so we had a couple of side markers come out, but that's no big deal. We can replace those. We should be off in no time. There's probably like maybe 2 square inches of glue still holding this board on. I can feel it in there. You just got to keep working and working, and eventually it will come loose. And I think we are about there. And there it went. All right, so now that we got the board off, we need to get it somewhere and get it clamped so it doesn't do anything crazy on us while we do the rest of our work. So y'all sit tight. Okay, so we got the board off, and I'm gonna get this cleaned up, and next time we'll start working on getting this rod out and getting the new rod in, seeing what all we got to do that. Appreciate y'all watching. If you like the content, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time. Thanks again.